Hey everybody, just want to do a quick recording tonight. Um, for one, I just want to touch on Ted Cruz for a second and Rand Paul. I don't like either one of them. I got to be honest with you. For one, I mean they both really want to suck up to the system, and I can't sit here and stand behind somebody just because they claim to be behind my values a little bit more than the other people, so I'll just compromise and I'll just accept that. Because to me it's not about a person, it's about doing the right thing. And so if there's nobody up there to do the right thing, I don't support anybody. And that's just the way it is. Because I know that this is an idealistic thing, that this is a representative democracy and that we have to just choose the best with what we're given. But my thing is that it's not about the people, it's about the laws. And I'm not here to endorse one person over another, but what I am here to endorse is that this country get on the right track. And so one thing about Ted Cruz is that his wife is a Goldman Sachs vice president. Another thing is that's about as much as I know, and that's about as much as I need to know, And so, with Ted Cruz, what you have is basically the typical run-of-the-mill, phony, sappy politician. And droning and droning and droning, And I pretty much picked that up from trying to watch his filibuster, which, I think that's great that they want to try to filibuster the Obamacare thing, but this is a little late in the game for, theatrics. I mean, to be honest with you, the time to try to, stand on your feet 24 hours was when Obamacare was being passed. But either way, the point of the story was, the whole debt limit thing is nothing but a joke, And this has been a noted fact for a while now. I mean, you listen to Alan Greenspan. Alan Greenspan got on television and said, we can always just print more money. And so why would I want to go on and on with the whole thing? And besides that, I already know they can print more money. They don't need congressional approval to print money. They don't need congressional oversight to print money. And they don't need to tell Congress after they're done doing it. So, I mean, the whole thing is nothing but a freaking joke. And it just gets more and more bizarre every day. I don't ever know exactly how much money they're printing up, but I know it's somewhere in the range of 20 times whatever we are hearing about at any given moment. But here's the thing. Not only is it 20 times more than what we're hearing about at any given moment, there's more than 20 times. There's no telling how much. And then they say that they've got a derivatives thing that makes it 10 times worse. I mean, here's the thing. It's a free-for-all. They're just going to print up as much money as the paper presses can print. And that's the way it is, because there's no restraints anymore. There's no gold standard. The country had already been handed over to banks in 1913 by giving them the power to expand the monetary supply in secret, put out all kinds of banks out of business. But they closed the window for the gold standard in 1970, somewhere around 1970, 1968, 1970. And, the thing is so, I mean, there's no telling, how much money's been stolen and who's all getting it, and I mean there's just not, and there's just no telling, man. And if the average person could ever even imagine how much money is being taken, they'd probably just go into denial right there, because people are weak, man. They're about as vapid as grown men thinking it's manly to watch men in spandex slam their concussed heads into each other over the placement of a ball on a field. And thinking that's not manly, and not juvenile. And so, and then, that's probably just another control paradigm. It is. I mean, these stadiums, we pay for them, just like Rome constructed huge gladiatorial stadiums, and all the people just got wrapped up in gladiator events, and they didn't care what was going on anymore. It's like the movie Gladiator I was watching the other night, and Roman Empire is sitting up there, or Emperor's sitting up there in the gladiator stadium. Kind of reminds me of Obama coming into a football event and having the whole city shut down. And they're saying something like, "Oh, the people won't know; they're fickle," and you really get that impression from looking at the crowds. You get the impression that it was just I don't know. It's pretty well conveyed art there. The way that they did that movie. Anyways, the point is that that's what's going on. And I don't know what's the reason why people are just too weak to even accept reality. I mean, they're building castles, they're doing everything with the money, and they're just leaving us with paper, and it just keeps getting, the pile of paper just keeps getting bigger, and the worthlessness of the society just grows as a result, and we're screeching to a halt, and people are spending their whole life saving money, and then they don't have anything, you know what I mean? And that's what really pisses me off, is because you go to the store, and I'm sitting there watching some old lady, taking her grandkids to try to find them something to do, a toy or something, and she's like, "Oh, these DVDs are too expensive, they're like $10. And I'm like, man, this woman's probably saved money her whole life, and wasn't a professional investor, and just inflation just took it all away, So that's how y'all treat people, and it's not just that, but the economy is screeching to a halt under the weight of inflation. I mean, the entire classes of people are just, their entire wealth is just disintegrated, to nothing. And I don't know, where people think demand comes from. Anyways, and then they got an escalating income tax. It's just theft, the economy's going to suffer, and eventually it's going to fall apart, just like the Roman Empire fell apart. When the bridges started collapsing, then they just took the bridges down and used the stones to make roads out of for the dark ages. And our bridges are collapsing, and so you're going to have a whole lot more of that as the society doesn't have enough resources to take care of itself, to support its own infrastructure. You're not even going to have it. And there's potholes all on the highway. Oh, there's potholes all on the roads. They're always doing construction. It never gets done. It's just a mess. And they're just spread thin. They don't have the money to do it. I tell you, man. Either ways, yeah. They're the entire economy, but you're never going to convince people that they can't just print up money, and give it to themselves, and that it's not going to affect the economy. You're not ever going to convince people that. You're not ever going to convince people that there's not a money tree somewhere that they can just have it. It's for sale. You're not ever going to convince people that there's not a perpetual motion machine that they might be able to get one day. You're not ever going to be able to convince people that there's not a snake serum that can cure everything in the medical dictionary. You're not ever going to convince them. And this is across the board, because you listen to Alex Jones, he sits there and says that he's the smartest one in the resistance, but the ones who run this place, they're really super smart. So I guess that means that everybody's stupid, you know what I mean? Because these are the motherfuckers that are thinking they're going to get something out of destroying this place. And meanwhile, the place is going to implode, and, as of right now, it's good for them at the moment. You know what I mean? It's good for them at the moment. So they don't care about the fact that the ocean's full of plastic and that there's bisphenol A in every single living thing on the face of the planet, including themselves, because the whole political system is just decapitated, and you know they don't care. You know they don't care about all that. You know, bees are dying en masse. You know, if all bees died, a whole planet dies, and then we're on dangerous, and the bees are endangered, and they haven't figured out why they're dying. You know, and I'm telling you, I mean, there's a reason why. It's because people don't, they can't even tie their own shoelaces, let alone deal with the extra problems that we have on top of all these problems. You know, on all the GMO, you know, and the pesticides. See, they know that it's the pesticides that is causing these events to happen, that's causing these bees to die off. But it's a regulations buy-off game, and you just can't ever sell off yourself enough. You know what I mean? In thinking that you're gonna win somehow. You know, while you have to live in this place. So that's the kind of shit I'm talking about. You know, that you can't ever convince somebody. You know, that Alex Jones is saying is the smartest person in the world. Okay. And this is the same motherfucker that I'm supposed to be trying to convince that, hey man, you can't just print up paper wealth and take it away and destroy society and sell off and put the whole society and the whole infrastructure on the auction block to be monopolized and not lose yourself. You know, and so either way, you know, nobody cares. You know, nobody cares. You know, they're above it, and they're gonna say nanny nanny boo boo till the day that they die. You know, and that's the kind of shit that really gets to me. Excuse me, but you know, that's the kind of stuff that really gets to me. Is this juvenile minded crap that just never ends. You know, and they can't ever get it through their head. They're always gonna deny it. You know, they're always gonna want a little more pain in their life. You know. I mean, why wouldn't Congress, if they want money so bad, just, you know, conduct business in a way that makes sense for everybody, including themselves, you know? Because let me tell you something, Thomas Jefferson, all these people, they weren't the greatest people in the world, you know? Thomas Jefferson had 150 slaves, you know what I mean? By the time he died, he wasn't even that great, but, you know, the problem is that these people sat down and at least established a set of laws that made sense. You know, other than their free slavery, which was pretty bad, but I mean, you can't even do any of that. You know, you can't even, you know, just. The point of the story is that you really need to understand that they weren't great people. They didn't establish laws because they were great people. You know, and you don't have, and so. And so you can't even sit there and face the fact that you just need to take care of your own business by just going in and just actually just, you know, doing something that makes sense, you know. You know, demonstrating common sense, you know. I mean, some self-interest, some self-preservation. Demonstrate. You know, and the thing is that golly, what you could do if you really want money, you just go in and just vote yourself in a raise. You know what I'm saying? And just get this place in order. You know, because it doesn't make any sense for you to be up there screwing yourself and everybody else. You know, we could probably pay Congress, President, everybody else probably 100 times more than what they're getting paid on payroll right now. Oh, but that'd be too embarrassing. No, we're just going to have, you know, enslavement and mass murder, and we're just going to destroy the food chain and all that. That's not embarrassing. Man, whatever. You know, what the problem is that you can't just demonstrate just the slightest bit of common sense, just listen here, some self-interest. You know, why don't you just go up there, put us on a gold standard, get things in order, and vote yourself in a raise? You know, because we can afford it. And but we can't afford this. You know, we can't afford 10 million sucklings. You know, we can't afford. Oh, we can't afford 10,000 sucklings. You know, we may be able to afford 500 of you, but we can't afford 100,000 of you. So, I mean, point being is do what you do best, look out for number one, and get all the other losers out of the party, you know? Because I know you're looking out for number one. I mean, we all know that. Or at least you think you are. We all know you think you are. So, anyways, but I gotta be honest with you, I know the truth. I know you're not even looking out for number one. I know you're just a cat chasing its tail in the living room, and I have to sit here and deal with it. Anyways, look, the point of the story is that so anyways, you know, what I was going to talk about is one of the things we want to talk about. I'm having to do these videos every night now because they've shut down video responses. You know, I can tell you right now, I know why they did it. I mean, it's a censorship move, just like all the other stuff I've documented on my channel. I went into video respond and then was unable to get my video to respond. I got a video in, came back 30 minutes later. Somebody else had video responded, so I was going to do it again. It was disabled, you know, so there it was. 30 minutes had passed, it was disabled. So, about a week later, I come back, there's more I'm running into. They talk about, you know, code, you know, the codes are all messed up or something, and then they come back and they said this thing isn't functioning, whatever, you know. So I said, all right. So I documented it because it's starting to look funny, and then within the next couple of days, they were talking about taking the whole thing down, and so all I was doing was talking about drug prohibition. To be honest with you, I mean, that's actually what I was doing. You know, my videos were mostly about drug prohibition, or, you know, mostly have been about drug prohibition, you know, lately, but, you know, these haven't been as much. But anyways, you know, it's just a nightmare out there. I mean, this whole Obamacare thing, it's just another destruction thing. And it's almost like they just think it's like the goofy bastards think that they haven't gotten us enough yet, you know. I mean, they've got more people in prison than any country in the world, including China. They've got more people in prison than, you know, and you know, and here I am, you know, and here they think they're getting a big party, they're getting something good out of it, you know. Nancy Pelosi stays in hotel rooms that are like $10,000 a night, and you know, it's just never enough, you know. So, you know, Nancy Pelosi could go up there and vote herself a raise in with the rest of the clowns, but no, she wants to. That would be embarrassing, you know. It's less embarrassing to go out and you know, sell out your soul and then go stay in a $10,000 a night hotel room, you know, as a public servant. That's not embarrassing. So, anyways, you know, and the clowns just go around selling their souls down the toilet, thinking it's funny and thinking it's highbrow and thinking that it's like a family event because they're on the inside of something, and so there's warm feelings associated with that, like Christmas morning, you know. And so, I mean, you know, that's what they do, and that's what they feel, and that's what they get off on, you know, is their sterile life, and you know. And there's a sense of security that they get out of it. That's like where Harry Reid's voice kind of I'm assuming it comes from. Oh, oh. He just feels like a little sweater vest wearing, security guy, I guess. I mean, just on the inside of something, I don't know. I mean, but either way, this place is going down hard, okay? And, I'll just tell you right now, I mean, between the number of people enslaved, being more than any country in the history of the world, and this is a complete and total destruction of the country, I mean, printing up money, and then all anybody can think about is how to latch on and try to get something for free, and that's what I'm talking about is this whole idea that there's a money tree out there somewhere, there's a free ride waiting for me, and it is going to be like magic, and so people believe in magic, and it's no wonder that they like Harry Potter so much. I mean, they really believe in magic because it is fun to believe in things like that, and kind of let your mind wander into the, kind of like getting a lottery ticket, like something free, you put in some money and then you might get some big free thing out of it, you know what I mean? And always chasing that free deal, and that's how people think, and so they go and they get on welfare, and I think anyways, they have kids, and then they train their kids to do the same, and anyways. So basically what I'm trying to explain is there's this giant unwashed mass of basically flotsam and jetsam, and it's growing, and it's wanting more, and it's growing fast, so and I'm just going to tell you right now, you're not going to convince them of anything else, because they're not ever going to learn, they don't care, and they can't care because they don't have the ability, and there's going to be more, man, and they're all a bunch of baby birds with their mouths open, and they want you to throw up in it, and they're not going to quit, and they're not going to, how baby bird just will not quit. I mean, it just will not. I mean, it just screams and just holds its mouth open, and that's all it can do, and that's all they can do, and that's all they're going to do, and that's what I'm trying to explain to you, is that you're going to get them on welfare. There's going to be more people like this coming into the world, okay? And I'm sorry to be like this, but I'm going to be serious with you. People like this don't need to have kids if they can't support themselves, okay? And that's bar none. You don't need to, if you're a mentally handicapped person who can't even go out and get a job, then you don't need to get money. You don't need to be having kids, And I'm not saying that you need to be sterilized, because that's what the government wants to do, is because that gives them another opportunity to come in and break somebody's back and break somebody's spirit, No, what I'm saying is that you just don't give them any money, and and then eventually they're going to quit having kids, because they're going to have to go find a job first, or they're going to be on a street corner somewhere, and it's kind of hard to have kids on a street corner. But the problem with it is that it's breeding this problem into society. You got all these people, you get them on welfare, they have 10 kids apiece, and then those kids are all brought up, raised. Okay, look, you don't do anything, but you reach out for a handout, and then the rest of society is trying to sit here and explain to them, hey, look, that this whole society is gonna crush and it's gonna collapse on itself, and we're not gonna have anything. Just like the collapse of Rome, we're not going to have anything. And probably we're all going to end up dead because of nuclear weapons. But, they're just going to say they don't care, And that's what I'm trying to say, is that they're just not going to, and that's what I'm saying, is that they're not going to care because they can't care. You know, they don't have the faculties. You know what I mean? And these degenerate people are literally, you're reversing evolution. To be honest with you, a society of people that are even capable of sustaining infrastructure. You're not facilitating that. You know, because the people who are coming into this world are people who are facilitated by a process that is not real. You know, and man, the people are just getting stupider and stupider. And you know, and the people don't care. You know, because they can't care. You know, I mean, look at the Germans. I mean, yeah, they did some horrible things, but I mean, they're smart. You know what I mean? You know, they had the first microchip. You know, the first television. You know what I mean? So, anyways, you know, but that's not the stock we have over here in this country. It's not. It's just a bunch of filthy degenerates. And this country's gone, man. And this country's gone. So, you know, just start getting excited about it. And, you know, so anyways, I did want to touch on something here real quick. Harry Reid the other day said that the natural course of events in government is for the government to do the right thing. Well, listen here. Doing the right thing is a product of a logical act, and what's been going on around here hasn't fit into that category in the slightest way. But you know, you know, it's the opposite of what's true. I mean, if you listen to Thomas Jefferson, you know, he repeatedly, you know, he did say that natural course of events in government is for the government to gain new ground while liberty yields. And he was pretty well versed, you know, and in just history and knowledge. But you know, Alexander the Great has saying that it meant the exact same thing. And you know, it's just been known. It's just always been known, you know. And you know, I don't know what the motivation would be for even saying for even to say such an audacious thing. I can't fathom. I mean, I can't even think of a reason. If anybody can think of a reason why he would even say that, just go ahead and post it in the comments section, because I'd really like to know what you think. Because it really just doesn't make any sense, you know, to me. And you know, it just depends. I mean, who would you even be talking to? You'd have to be talking to a total moron, you know what I mean? And because I knew this by the time I was, you know, 10, 11, 12 years old, that the government had collapsed in Europe, and we fled to America to start over again, and still had to fight a war to get out from underneath. You know, what was then still a tyranny of Europe. So, but anyways, you know, I mean, why would you even say it? You know, I mean, it doesn't even come close to resembling the truth. And even if you were going to say, well, the government doesn't always do the right thing, but sometimes does the bad thing, or that the government, you know, the government does the right thing sometimes, you know. But see, you know, the storyline the storyline that we're being fed by the likes of Reed and the rest of the urchins up there, criminals, lowlifes, morons, and people who are too embarrassed to just simply vote themselves in a raise because they're above it. They'd rather just sell their souls and destroy themselves. But hey, that's not embarrassing. But no, the geniuses, as Alex Jones, said, the geniuses. The way they try to sell us the whole story is that there's two teams up there, and that one team is good and the other is bad. So, maybe he should go back to, so maybe he should go back to that whole story of, he's on the good team on Team Blue and the Team Red is bad, So that way he can get more people to, sell their soul for a feeling of being on at a football game. You know what I mean? To sell out their entire life, to sell out their entire existence, for the feeling of being at a football game. Because that's manly. And as long as you feel like you're in a group of a crowd of other men, and that you don't think differently than they do, you feel safe, even though you're living in a country that has 300 million guns. You could probably easily get your hand on one and just have it underneath your bed. You'd rather piss your pants every night thinking about how, somebody might not think that you think the same way as they do, because you're all in the same fantasy football league, the same fantasy world, the same fantasy football world, that you live in, thinking that you're on a team. I'm on Team Obama. I'm on Team Romney. Oh, that's my identity. Oh, that's who I am. Oh, I'm a Republican. That's a title. That's a label. That makes me feel special. That makes me feel like I'm unique. I said I came into this world a Republican. That made, just whatever, man. Everybody feels like they need to, that they could slap a label on themselves and all of a sudden that means that's who they are, So, that's almost as, exciting as putting on a members-only jacket. Why don't, if you need to feel like you're a part of a club or something, why don't you just be a part of your own club that looks out for yourself as an adult? How would that be? How about instead of feeling like you need to be a label such as a Democrat or Republican, how about just being a human? How would that just be? Would that just be okay? Would that be acceptable? Would that be good enough? Anyways, the point is that, if you listen to Harry Reid, I guess that means the government's done nothing but watch out for us. That's what it does. That's what it does. That's the natural course of events. It just watches out for us. And we're all supposed to believe that, And we're all supposed to believe that. But meanwhile, that we're supposed to be believing this, we have more people held in captivity than any country in the history of the world. Now, does that sound a little far-fetched? Just a little bit? Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. I would just like to get somebody's response. Just tell me why he even said it. Because, see, they're so far gone now, they don't even make sense anymore, and they don't even care. They just get up there and say anything. Just as long as their mouth is moving, I guess that's all that really matters. And so, anyways. So, meanwhile, the Federal Reserve gets audited, and we find out that they printed 20 times as much money as was allowed for them in the quote-unquote bailouts, handouts, more handouts. And, but that's pulling together. That's pulling together is when some people make huge mistakes in business, and then we pay for it through inflation. That's pulling together. So, anyways, you know, if it's emotional and if it makes you feel warm and fuzzy inside, hey, just hand your ass over to a rapist and hand your daughter and son over to a child molester, pedophile, mass murdering psychopath. If it's emotional and it makes you feel warm and fuzzy inside, just you know, put a gun to your head and pull the trigger, and rip your guts out in front of everybody and start munching down on them.